What's up, everybody? It's your girl Q1, and I am back with another episode of Divorce Sisters, Season 1, Episode 6. Heavier than words. Y'all, before I start, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell button so you can be updated on every video that I drop. Y'all, make sure we are liking all the videos so I can kind of stay in the algorithm of things. And also, y'all, tonight at 7:30 Central, my time, our time, and 8:30 Eastern, y'all, please come around there to the Black Girls Den podcast, where we will be discussing tonight's episode of Divorce Sisters. Y'all, it's gonna be a kiki around there. So 7:30, 8:30 Eastern, y'all head over there to the Black Girls Den podcast. Okay, all right. So, y'all, the episode picks back up with me asking who's doing the bending, okay? Because ain't no way. Shout out to Janet Jackson and Amari Hoderick, okay? Okay. Anyway, y'all already know Pastor Jeff had this conversation. You know, Myron called and was like, babe, are you in the car? Yada, yada, yada. So Pastor Jeff was like, he grabbed the phone from Rashida, y'all, and he said to Myron, he was like, who the hell you calling, Myron? He said, oh, Pastor, I'm sorry. Y'all know that was code for shut your damn mouth, okay? So he said, he got out the shower, hit the read out button. He thought it was Denise. Y'all know that Denise is Myron's wife. So Pastor Jeff was like, don't let it happen again. So then he proceeds to say, my wife's sitting here looking at me sideways. Sir, you must think me and Rashida was born last night. You must think we got boo-boo the fool written on our forehead. All right? So he apologizes again. Myron starts to apologize again. He starts to stutter, talking about, okay, Elmer Fudd, we know you sorry. Okay? So Rashida's standing there with tears coming out her eye, and Pastor Jeff apologized to her. Y'all know how that go. So then she went in the house. He was getting in the car. He calls Myron back, and he says to Myron, man, she was looking at me sideways. So Myron's still stuttering, talking about, I thought I called Denise. And Pastor did say, I believe you, but we don't. Okay? At first, I was saying maybe it was another woman. And then I was thinking, you know, I think really Myron likes him, but he don't like Myron like that. But he probably did some extra for Pastor above the building fund and above that offering. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Anyway, Myron is still talking to Pastor like he Pastor Love his secretary. Okay, shout out to Mary J. Blige. So he was like, I set up an appointment for you so the doctor can come look at your arm. So Pastor was like, I told you I was all right. You don't listen. So he was like, I'm supposed to take care of you. Yeah, I bet. You really want to take care of that man. But you know what? Let that lady wife take care of her husband. Okay, you go take care of your wife. So, I had noticed like he was kind of handling Myron how he usually handled Rashida. So now we had so Pastor Jeff get in the car, right? And so now he have the entire nerve to get in the car, and he started to pray. I was like, Pastor, please just pass the collection plate and get out of our face with this. Okay. All right. So Tiffany calls Pastor while he's in the middle of praying. She's looking for Rashida because Rashida ain't answered the phone all night. And so he asked, well, how is Naomi? So she was like, you don't really like Naomi like that, so I know you don't mean it. So he said, well, I'm still a man of the cloth. And I was like, well, what that mean? Okay. And so Pastor Jeff tell Tiffany, you know, why I messed up. So Tiffany assumed that he had cheated on Rashida. So he was like, well, you know, no, I never do that. So he explained to her that, you know, tensions was high. They argued, and, you know, he wasn't doing right by her. And so he left her in the car. He went in the house and didn't open the car door for her. So Tiffany was like, she finna leave you. And so he was like, huh? And y'all know how that back and forward Tyler Perry banter goes. So we're just gonna proceed. So Tiffany tells, what's his name, Pastor Jeff, that you triggered her by not opening the door. She said, the two things Rashida don't like is when you hang up in her face and when you don't open the door for her. And I was thinking like maybe cheating too, but we'll find out. So Tiffany tells him you need to go in the house and go talk to Rashida, and you need to beg her for your forgiveness. Okay? So he back and forward, So Tiffany finally breaks and tell Pastor Jeff that Rashida had a boyfriend back in college, and they was going in a room, they was going to make out, and he was a frat. And so his frat brothers came in the room, and they grape juiced her, and she tried to leave the room, but they locked her in the room. They wouldn't open the door. So they wouldn't open the door for her, and she was in there she was locked in that room the whole night. And so she said she'll never be with a man who opened the door for her. When I tell y'all that's trauma on top of trauma, that's a lot. So Pastor Jeff was about to go to the church, but Tiffany was like, listen, I wouldn't do that if I was you. I would go in the house. So he goes into the house to talk with her. He tells her he was wrong for not opening the door and apologized for messing up. He acknowledged her for all she's done for him, for them, and for the church. He gives her all of this praise in the world. He tells her the higher he go, the higher she gets, the more insecure he gets. He also proceeds to tell her that he is struggling with his own insecurities because God gave her something that he didn't give him. And so he tries hard, and that he's struggling in her shadow. And I was like, you're jealous of your wife? And he cannot, it's an ego thing. It's I think it's all bred in ego. And it feels like you're trying to really break that woman down because you can't seem to reach her level, or you don't feel like you have the capacity to reach her level. This is her journey. Your journey is your journey. And the problem we have with our journeys is when we try to take our own personal journeys and make them higher than somebody else's. You cannot do that. Your journey is your journey. That's just what it is. So he asked her to say something, and she was like, okay. And he was like, that's all you're going to say? And she was like, I said, okay, I need to process this. See, this is what y'all don't understand. Sometimes y'all think because you apologize right then and there that alleviates everything. It does not. It does not. Okay? We need time to process what has happened in the moment, what happened before. We need to process all of it. It just has to be what it has to be. What the outcome is going to be, it is what it is. Anyway, so he asked her if she was going to leave him. And she asked, why is it all of a, what is this all of a sudden? Like, what is this sudden change of heart that you just seem to have? And so she was like, so now you want to be vulnerable? Because for the past five episodes, you've really been shitting on that lady. So she asked, I'm going to ask you a question. And so he was like, are you sleeping with Myron? And he said, hell no. And she was like, you attracted to Myron? And he was like, hell no, I'm not attracted to no man in the church or no any other man. So he tells her, and see, this right here is what aggravates me. Because are you really sorry? So then he tells her, I'm not attracted to men, but I'm attracted to women. And so the women in the church. And so she was like, who? And baby, he said it was Brenda, Brenda, Letitia, Linda, Felicia, Dawn, LaShawn, Idez, and Alicia. Okay, Teresa, Monica, Sharon, Nikki, Lisa, Veronica, Karen, Vicky, Cookie, because he met her at the ice cream parlor. Okay, Tanya, Diane, Lori, and Carla, Mina, Selena. What is it? Katrina, Sabrina, about 3 Kims, Latoya, and Tina. Okay, he didn't say all that, but let me say this. He said Shelly, Bridget, Kathy, Rashida. Okay, y'all, Rashida is on that list. What you really want from a nigga? Okay, somebody let me know. He didn't say that. He said Carla, Trina, and Bonita. Bonita must be ugly because she was like, ew. And anyway, shout out to DMX. And what's his name? With the hair. Him. Anyway, but he said he don't associate with those women because he only have eyes for her. And I'm like, you do? You must be cockeyed because you definitely don't. Your eyes don't be on that lady, okay? You really be dogging that lady out, okay? You really be dogging that lady out, and I don't like it. Anyway, she told him, I need you to go to work. And so he was like, no, I just won't be. I'm sorry. She was like, you know me. Now go on and go to work because I need to process this. Okay? Sorry, y'all. Just my apologies. It's this and that. So she said she needed to process everything. And for me, I don't blame her. Anyway, y'all, Geneva, in the next scene, Geneva calls Rashida and checks on her. She asked how was she doing, and you know, she tells Rashida, I've been calling you all night. So then Geneva asks if her and Jeff, Geneva asks Rashida, those names, everybody's names just sound close in proximity and rhyming, okay? Not in proximity, but in rhyming, okay? So Geneva asks her if her and Jeff got into it. So Rashida said, girl, you know me and Jeff don't argue. So she was like, well, a heated discussion. Child, please. That's all y'all do is have high level heated discussions, okay? So Geneva, apparently Geneva is following the yoga lady from the school, Maddie's mom. So Geneva claimed Javon is trying to make her jealous and that he's not into Tiffany like that. Now, 2 things can be true. He could be into Tiffany as well as still making you jealous. I didn't like this because I feel like you're that pissed off that you're trying to downplay your friend because you're really pissed off. And I don't even look at it like you really trying to take up for your friend. I just feel like she's just trying to downplay her friend. Okay? I don't like it. Geneva is pissing me off. Okay? So Rashida says that that's not what it looked like. You know, she said it actually looked like Javon actually likes Tiffany. And that you're just trying to find something on William so you can feel better about this Javon situation. Because y'all know she kept trying to deny this whole situation with Javon. So, of course, as I stated, she lies and denies. And Rashida tells her, like, you need to go home. You need to get changed. You need to get yourself ready and come here and then go to work. So Rashida asked, how's Naomi? Geneva said, a hot mess. And I'm looking at you like, you got some nerve. Because you are the even hotter mess. Okay? So Pastor Jeff walked back in the room. Okay? We thought he had left and went to the church house. Child, he walked back in the room and he tells Rashida, you know, he want them to start riding in the car together. Okay? So just at this point, Pastor Jeff sound like an old R&B song. Baby please, Baby, please. Okay? He sound like a Key Sweat, some sort of Key Sweat song. Okay? So he told her last night, you look beautiful. At this point, Rashida was like, boy, if you don't get and go sit next to Satan and read the Bible, because I know something. Okay? Now, she didn't say that, but I'm saying that. So what I realize is he done such a number on Rashida that she don't believe when he's trying to be nice, when she feels like he's really being disingenuous. And I don't know, cause sometimes it's like you can't tell unless, let me say this ain't no shade, but it's just possibly that he's not the best actor. Okay, so that could be, and maybe he need to kind of get his acting chops up. That's all. So she asked Pastor Jeff, who did you talk to? And he said he didn't talk to nobody last night. She said, you don't want to say today because you don't want to lie. You don't want to fully admit. That goes back to what his daughter said. You tell some of the truth, not all of the truth. Anyway, she figured it out that he talked to Tiffany, and he told her yes, but he said, I promised Tiffany that I wouldn't, tell you or whatever. So she don't want Jeff to open up to her because out of you having pity for me. If you're gonna do it, let it be genuine. She said, I'm not a victim. And he says to her, listen, it's not like that. He said, but I was in a car and I was praying. And he said, and Tiffany called while I was praying. He said that most likely was a sign from God, because Tiffany never calls me. And Tiffany called me looking for you. And he tells her, he admits to her that he had been an asshole. Now, when this lady was telling you was being an asshole, you kept playing in this lady face, denying that you wasn't being an asshole when you really was being an asshole. Anyway, he said, I will open any and every door for you. Okay, we got that. What about everything else? Are you going to open your heart? Are you going to be kind to her? Are you going to protect her? Are you going to, because this is what love is. It's all it is. It hopes. It always trusts. It always protects. It never fails. It's never easily angered. Like, it's kind. What are you going to do? Okay? So Bridget heads over to the church. Calvin is sitting there waiting at the church. She apologizes to Calvin. Why? I don't damn know, because you didn't have to fight with Calvin. Vaughn's stupid ass did. So Calvin told her that he called the police. He wanted to know where Vaughn is. Well, she kicked Vaughn out. Okay? And he tells her that the police is handling the situation. So he was like, well, where is she? Where is he? And she was like, well, he could be by his mama. So he wanted to know where. She was like, I don't know where his mama lives. You still trying to protect this man who has shown signs of has shown you a sign of volatile behavior. One time is enough. Anyway, them two get to arguing. Pastor Jeff and Rashida walking, smiling, and happy like she done got okay down. Okay, she got down. Okay, I hope, but whatever. So the way Bridget was looking, and Calvin was like, Pastor, I gotta talk to you. And then here come Myron showing up, and he was like, I told him you wasn't here yet. Myron, somebody tell Myron that Pastor don't need him to be a Captain Save a Hole. Okay? So Pastor Jeff takes Myron in his office. I'm sorry, not Myron. Calvin in his office, and Rashida and Bridget go in her office. So Bridget was like, what was this? What is this? And so Rashida don't want to talk about that, so she talks about Bridget. Bridget tells her what happened between Calvin and Vaughn. And so she was like, where's Vaughn? She was like, well, I put him out and he went to his mom's house. And so Rashida was like, are you sure? You know, how do you feel? She was like, I'm sad. And she was like, are you sure you want to do this? Because the last time you said you wanted to do it and you took him back. And she was like, yeah, but you could tell at some point Bridget was going to take this food back. Like, I don't know. So in the next scene, Geneva went home, finally got dressed, came out. When I tell y'all, she looked good in that burgundy whole outfit. Okay, it was giving fall. It was giving, girl, because I love you. Okay, I love you in Deval in real life. Okay, but Geneva be pissing me off. So Tiffany actually called Geneva. Geneva looked at the phone, hung it up. What she did not know was Geneva was standing right in front of her because she's getting ready to show a house to one of her buyers, a potential buyer. So Tiffany walked up on Geneva and she tell her, you know, basically, I don't like your energy. And so Tiffany know what it is. So Tiffany purposely tells her, you know, oh, Javon called me. We talked all night. The way she was looking at Geneva, like, okay. So Geneva was like, just trying to play it cool, knowing she wasn't cool with it. So we see a car pull up, which was Tiffany's buyer. Well, of course, it ended up being Javon. Well, William apparently told him about the house across the next door to them. I'm sorry, y'all. I think William knows something. I think he knows, and I think he's trying to make her sweat. Yes, and I'm going to get there. Anyway, she asked Javon, Javon walked up, gave her some roses. You can visibly see the look on Geneva's face. And so Tiffany was like, what are you doing here? He was like, well, I'm the buyer and the potential buyer. And she was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. You could have told me that. And so he was like, well, no, I wanted to surprise you. And he just playing his mind game with Geneva, but I don't like how he's playing in Tiffany's face. And Tiffany has been through a lot. And when you go, I am a lot like Tiffany. When you go through a lot and somebody come to you wanting you don't want to give anybody your heart because you gave it to somebody and they didn't know what to do with it. So guess what you did? You put it in a vault and you locked it up and you got it behind a 10-foot wall, electric fence, and some vicious, poisonous pit bull puppies. Okay? That's what happens. You don't want to. And so somebody come and they make you think. And I'm just telling y'all, like, that's not an easy thing. So people like Tiffany, when you open up, like me, like people like Tiffany, it takes a long time for us to open up. And when you open yourself up and it's not what it seems, you have to go back through the process of healing all over again. You will feel the feels. But the problem with that is that you will never give that person that very version of you that you gave to them the first time. I'm just saying. Anyway, Geneva left. She was like, well, I have to go to work, yada, 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 whatever, Geneva, bye. So she asked Javon, like, what is this? We only met 24 hours and you all over me. Like, what we doing? And I think she purposely asked him that because of this situation. I think at this point, she just want her friend to be honest with her. This nigga, I need you as my friend to keep it a buck with me. What is this? So I really think at this point, Tiffany need to be really direct. Even if you lie. If you lie, I still need you to be direct. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to directly ask you. I'm not going to be indirect. And that's the one thing I don't like that Tiffany is doing. Ask her what you really want to ask her. So Javon was like, well, I want to kiss you. She was like, baby, no, we're in a professional setting. He was like, well, maybe tonight. Maybe. Okay. So the next scene, Geneva put up at the Goya. What is it? Yoga, Gayo, whatever. This backwards yoga written in backwards studio. First of all, when Geneva started smoking cigarettes, because y'all got my girl like this sitting in the car, okay? So she pull up at the yoga studio, of course, and we finally meet Madison's mom. Okay, that was the same lady that William was talking to and handed the flowers to. And so she set up a fake, because I think it's fake, a fake play date, and she purposely left her phone. Geneva goes back to her car, wait a few minutes, go back inside because she had her phone on. She had it recording. And she goes and she was like, oh my God, I think I left my phone. So she takes the phone after she met Maddie's mom and they exchanged numbers. She then tells her, oh, I don't know, does my husband have your number? And she was like, no. And for me, I would have been like, how do you know where I work? How do you know I'm Madison's mom? How do you know all this if I never formally met you? Like, for me, those would have been the questions that would have been, that I would have been asking Geneva. Like, how do you know me? How do you know where I work? How do you know that my daughter's name is Maddie? Like, that's strange. And I think the way she did it was stupid. Anyway, Geneva gets to the church. She talks to Rashida. She tells Rashida she went to the yoga studio and she thinks that William is messing around with Madison's mom. So Geneva says she's bored in her marriage, that William is predictable. She said, and she said Javon is making it hard for her. Rashida tells her Javon is exciting for her, and Geneva admits that it's a turn on. Y'all, the first time I heard that person is exciting for you was when I watched the Tyler Perry Marriage Counselor, the movie. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, Geneva says that Tiffany cannot be with Javon, and it was the look that Geneva had in her eye, and now she wants Tiffany off of Javon. And Rashida agrees, but you have to be honest with your friend. So she said Javon is doing things to Tiffany that he did with her. And she said if they sleep together, that it's a wrap. She said she never had a man that size. So child, William is a part of the LDE community, okay? And I'm going to quote what your boy said on Soul Food. Girl, did you see that little thing? So Geneva said Javon is a good man. Rashida had to remind her that if he's a good man, but he's trying to get with your best friend to make you jealous. Knowing you are married, I added that in there for free. But he a good man, Savannah. Okay. So we get to Bridget's office. She had a text from Vaughn. He said he was going to unalive himself. And I was like, but do what you got to do. Because you can't come and tell me that. I'm sorry, y'all. I felt like he was playing in her face so he can go back to her house. Because he must have went back to that mama house. And that mama told him, boy, you 30. Get your shit together. Because you can't come back here. Okay? So Vaughn was like, you want me to go to jail? Yeah. You get 3 hots in a cot. Okay? And you don't have to pay no bills. You can't go to jail. Okay? You assaulted that man. That man called the police on you. I don't give a damn. I told you to get out. Okay? Anyway, he said, don't nobody love him. Sir, I'm sorry to tell you, we don't love them hoes. Okay? Snoop Dogg. So you too can go have a seat next to Satan and have a long chit chat with him on the on the left hand side, because the pastor is on the right side and Jefferson is sitting on Satan's lap. Okay, don't think we forget about Jefferson. Okay, so he said, don't nobody love me, and that man attacked me while I was asleep. Sir, you should have been up. Okay. What pisses me off is that not one time did Vaughn take responsibility for being a 30-year-old man who have no goals, no career, no nothing. It is not nobody's, Bridget, your mama, or nobody else's responsibility to hold your hand through life. Take responsibility. Man up. Okay? I owe that all to his mama and daddy, because they didn't teach him shit. Okay? Anyway, he wants somebody to damn baby him at 30. And his mammy probably had him at her house for long as she could until he met a woman. And once he met a woman, she scooted him right on out there. Okay, if this is you, that is sad. You go from one woman house to the next woman house. Get your own damn house. Okay, stop the codependency. Teach your kids about rejection. Teach your kids how to love themselves. Otherwise, they wouldn't put all of this in the hands of somebody else. And you're not going to be disappointed by somebody's expectations for you, for how you expect them to show up. That's not how they work. I'm sorry, y'all. I meant to say, I don't know what I meant to say, but that's all I'm saying. I'm really just telling y'all, teach y'all kids rejection. Teach y'all kids to be responsible. Teach your children responsibility, rejection, and love, self-love, and the lack of codependency. Teach them to be independent. It's not Bridget's job to take care of him. He felt like he was owed that. Like he just felt like he was owed whatever Bridget had for him. Her house, her everything. He handled her like she wasn't nothing, like this was she was supposed to be doing, while he figured it the fuck out. Sir, you can figure it out at a shelter. So Pastor Jeff was like, listen, you can go to a shelter. Some of my members be at the shelter. He was like, I don't want to go to no shelter. Well, this ain't Burger King either. You can go live on the street. Okay? You can go to jail, the street, the shelter, but you can't come back to Bridget's house. And you probably can't go back to your mama's house. So he was like, I don't want to go to jail. And then, so while all of this is happening, Bridget is apologizing. I'm sorry, Vaughn. I'm sorry, baby. And it's almost like he want her to say, you could come home. I don't think Bridget said that, but she was like, I'm sorry. I'm here. I love you. I'll fix it. And it's like, this is another thing. He has showed you that he has a volatile side. So at some point, he's going to knock your dumb ass between a washer and a dryer. And he's not going to respect you. He has showed you that. The first time. Can't let it go. But of course, we know that's what this is about. Is also a lack of self-love. Self-esteem is in the toilet, and probably the need to control. That's probably why you got him so young. So you can't control nobody but yourself. You can't change nobody but yourself, Bridget. Okay? I don't like how Naomi said what she said to Bridget about not having somebody to love her and take care of her. But Naomi wasn't wrong last week. Anyway, we hear a pow pow, pow pow, and that's where the episode ends. And at this point, I'm just gonna keep it all the way up. But I hope he did it, because he is a burden. He is a liability. We don't need liabilities, okay? Sorry. If he did and he gone to be with the Lord, I won't be bringing no chicken to that repast. And with that being said, y'all, I will see y'all in about 12 minutes over at Black Girls Den Podcast. Don't meet us there, beat us there, because we about to talk about divorce sisters. Okay, I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.